Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names. David Scott Kelly.
I want to thank Provost Marks and John for working together, Regent Duvall for you being here, and the support and engagement from the board. And I just wanted to now open it up for questions, but before I do, I want to say that even though the headwinds are strong, I think that this is a very solvable situation. This is one of the greatest research universities in the world. We are going to find a way to solve these problems together. We're going to do it with integrity, compassion, and determination from our core values. And we're going to do it with transparency and collaboration and cooperation. It's going to take all of us to solve these issues.
All right, that is the president of the University of Arizona, Dr. Robert C. Robbins. On Monday, there was a press briefing. I guess you could say really not a press briefing because it really was not necessarily for the benefit of the press, but it was for the benefit of all at the university to get a handle, to hear from the folks that are going to be trying to solve the financial situation that's going on at the University of Arizona. President Robert C. Robbins was there. The executive director of the Board of Regents, who is also the interim CFO of the university at the moment, John Arnold, was there, along with Fred Duvall, who is the chairman of the Arizona Board of Regents. We're going to dive into today all that took place at that meeting on Monday. There was faculty there. There was administrators there. We'll get into what they said about athletics. We have not had a chance to really get into what happened at that meeting on Monday, so we're going to do that today. Mostly we'll do that starting in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll let you hear extensively from Chair Duvall what he had to say at that meeting on Monday. John Arnold, the guy that's going to be charged with trying to get the University of Arizona out of this financial mess that they're in, which this week, and again, the thing that's going to be interesting about this is the numbers are going to, they're still investigating this whole thing. So the numbers could change weekly in terms of, where this deficit is for the University of Arizona. But at this most recent juncture, they said that this year alone, the university is operating at a $177 million loss. And athletics, for its part, this year is operating at a $32 million loss. And we talked a little bit about what might come out in this audit that still has not been released. I read you some of the things that came out of the audit that was released at Louisiana State University, LSU, where it talked about them being $4 million over budget. There's $4 million over budget. Right now, Arizona is $32 million. Arizona Athletics is $32 million over budget this year. And so they outlined in this meeting on Monday some of the things that are gonna have to happen in order for not just athletics. And I think that's the key thing that needs to be kind of laid down. This is a university-wide problem. University-wide. John Arnold, the interim CFO, said there are 81 units that operate inside of the university, and by that he means departments, separate departments. Like athletics is a unit. Education, the various education units. Every one of those is a separate unit. So there are 81 units at the University of Arizona, and 61 of those 81 are over budget. So this is not just an athletics issue. This is a university issue. This is how they're painting it. It's a university-wide problem. Decisions have to be made across the university to get this spending back into line, and they're going to try to accomplish that over the course of the next 3 years. But things have to be done now. Things have to start happening now to control the spending as it's happening already. We're halfway through, or more than halfway through at this point, this fiscal year. And if you're not familiar with the academic fiscal clock, it runs July 1st to June 30th. It's not January 1st to December 31st like the normal year. It operates on a completely different time frame, but we're on the downside of what is fiscal 24 as we approach fiscal 25, and as that relates to athletics, as we approach what's going to be the new era of Arizona athletics in the Big 12 Conference. But interim CFO and Executive Director Arnold was very clear. There's going to have to be conversations had about what type and what Arizona athletics is going to look like moving forward. And they're looking for 5 to 15% cuts from every one of those departments that's over budget. 15%. Maybe as many. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll say, okay, that we're going to go 15. It might be 5. It might be 10. He wants to see layouts at all three of those levels. 5%, 10%, 15% cuts. So I'll tell you one thing as it relates to athletics, okay? Not only is this community as a whole, but this fan base, which, is a part of the community, this fan base, you're going to have to decide what's important and what's not important. What matters to you and what doesn't matter to you. Now, the outgoing athletics director, Dave Heeke, whose job ends on Friday, came out a few weeks ago and said there were not going to be any sports cut. That's not in the current plans, which you would hope that that's not the case after you just went and added another sport in triathlon. But if you're not cutting sports, you got to cut somewhere. Athletics has got to cut somewhere. And the one thing that they made clear at this meeting on Monday was that the student-athlete experience is still number one. So the cuts are not likely going to be around things that affect the student-athletes, although there might be some. And I've talked about it as it relates to, some of these teams take charter flights. That's an expense right now that you can get rid of in some respects.
No more mimosas. I was trying to do the math of what 15% of the budget here at Wildcats Road 1290 might be if we had to cut that. It's like 8 staples.
Oh, gosh. Ooh. I think it might be a little bit more than that, but okay. I don't know. 8 staples. That's not a lot.
No.
I think I could live without 8 staples. So what matters to you? Because if you want a big-time football program, if you want to be able to have football operate on a level that is competitive in big boy football, then some other things are going to have to go by the wayside. And I just think about today we got to meet with U of A softball for the first time this season. U of A softball and U of A baseball, just in one of the things that kind of came out of this whole thing is largely they're going to be looking at administration positions. So administratively, that's where a lot of these cuts are going to probably begin. So people will lose their jobs. You might not get as many new uniforms as you want every year. But the NCAA just allowed for the spring sports to add 2 coaches. One each. speaking in terms of baseball and softball. So both baseball and softball now have gone from 2 assistant coaches to 3 assistant coaches. That's 2 additional salaries to athletics that they did not have last year. And now, I don't know. We'll eventually find out because they put out a report every single year about what everyone in the athletic department makes. So once that report comes out, we'll know what the new coaches are getting. I would have to say between them, I would venture to say it's probably in the low 6 figures. Okay, so you're talking about maybe $100 to $125,000, $150,000 between those 2 additional coaches in baseball and softball. Okay, that's an added expense that wasn't on there. Now, just because the NCAA says, hey, you can add a coach doesn't mean you necessarily do that, but they've chosen to do that. I'd hate to see, new coaches come in, be here 1 year, and then lose their jobs next year because, we decided that extra coach is one thing that's going off the bottom line. But if you want football to be football, cuts are going to have to come from other places and other teams. Because we all know that football runs the bus. So you got to have football being as good as they can be. And Jetfish came in here and again, Jetfish put this program back into relevancy. We cannot denounce that. It took a lot of money and a lot of people. He ran this thing like an NFL operation. That's not cheap. And if Brent Brennan's going to come in and continue to run it like an NFL organization, it's going to continue to cost this athletic department a lot of money. And if that's what you want, then those cuts are going to have to come from somewhere else and at the expense of other teams or at the expense of people that are working in that department. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. We'll get into the lion's share of this in the 4 o'clock hour. Brian Jeffries is going to join us. We'll get you set for Arizona basketball. Tommy Lloyd met the media today. Tommy Lloyd will hear his thoughts. He actually did somewhat address what's happening. Apparently, there was an event last night involving everyone in the athletic department, kind of a social. We'll hear Tommy's thoughts on that straight ahead. Also, John Court is going to join us, the head coach of the University of Arizona gymnastics team. They are absolutely killing it out of the gate. This might be John's best crew. They've already hit 197 3 meets into the year. They generally don't hit 197 till closer to the end of the season. But they've already hit 197. So we'll talk to John Court about his squad this year and the season or the success that they've had in this early part of the season. Joining us now is the third member of our program, Cricket.
What's up there, dude?
Cricket, so it's a new era here in the CNWT.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but we've got a new chicken joint opening up on the corner.
Okay, yes, we do. What's it called again?
It's called Chicken Nuevo.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I've never been. Have you ever been to Chicken Nuevo? I've never been to Chicken Nuevo, and I bring this up because El Pollo Feliz closed, and we addressed this kind of a few weeks ago because there was some shenanigans going on behind the scenes there at El Pollo Feliz. But that was some of the best chicken
That was good.
that I have ever tasted from a fast food joint.
They had really good stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I've never had Chicken Nuevo.
I don't think I have. Maybe I have. But
J-Dub, Chicken Nuevo, do you know anything about it?
I do not. I'm looking
Okay.
into it now.
All right. Well, there are new neighbors. I think they're actually already, their grand opening is on Friday.
I saw them out there painting.
Yeah, but I think they're
and putting the new sign up.
Yeah, I was like, I drove by yesterday. I was like, ooh, they painted that wall a nice bright yellow color, and I think they actually are already open because I thought I saw somebody in the drive-through when I was coming through today.
the menu is definitely up in the drive-through. You know,
Okay.
the section where,
Yes.
you just pull up.
Yes.
And, yeah, so that's there.
So are you? Do you like kind of that that Mexican baked chicken kind of taste? I mean, is that kind of?
I like that. Yes, for sure. I like all chicken. I like all burgers. I like all those things.
So you're a fast food type of person, huh?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Not like all the time, but that would be something good to get for fast food. I think chicken.
What's your go-to spot?
I like Carl's Jr. Their lettuce wrapped burgers. They're really good.
Jr.
That's the first time you haven't said Trident, by the way.
I know. Well, we're talking fast food. If I want to sit down and have a burger, guess where?
Yeah, I know.
the
know.
Trident.
I think everybody
Trident
knows.
burger is your spot. I'm not. See, that's the thing though. I don't like restaurant hamburgers because they never. I have to. My burger has got to be cooked well, and most restaurants I've found nowadays don't know how to do that.
What is wrong with you?
No.
Well done.
I can't.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
can't
I
have
understand.
any red. I can't have any red. My
understand.
wife's a medium person, but I'm like the well done type of person.
So like eating a shoe,
Hey,
sort of.
exactly. The harder it is for me to chew it, the better.
I think they could do that for you at the Trident. They'd probably look at
Okay.
you a little weird, but
Yeah.
they'd say, "Oh, okay, whatever you want."
There you go.
I think you heard what I said was well done, but what I really meant was well done.
All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Here's Crickets.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together with collisions clearing. Craycroft north of River Road, some slowing there. Ajo and Keno Ajo connection ramp. Also River Road and First Avenue, some eastbound and northbound slowing. Other backups westbound Ajo at Mission, southbound Nogales Highway at Los Reales. Eastbound Grant Road at Columbus, and also busy traffic on westbound Speedway and westbound Grant Road, both approaching I-10. 56 the low tonight, tomorrow 76, rain starting tomorrow night into Friday, 77 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
When you get your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt, prepare to shout, "Jackson Hewitt, yeah!" from the rooftops. In the event you don't get your biggest refund, you'll get your money back, plus $100.
Wildcat fans, join head coach Adia Barnes and the Arizona women's basketball team in McHale Center this season. Single game tickets start as low as $17 and are available for purchase now. You won't want to miss the fierce competition coming to Arizona. Tickets are available at ArizonaWildcats.com/WBK. Arizona women's basketball. Let's pack McHale Center.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hi, it's David Kelly. Now listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with absolutely no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 2 locations, one off of Academy, one off of Orange Grove. 520-497-4955. 520-497-4955. Call QC Kinetics right now.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life.
Hewitt, yeah!
So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you have heart failure and often hear, Those stomach issues ruined your birthday.
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of the wind in the trees as your RV sits parked in the forest. Is that the call of the majestic owl? And there's the sound of a tree branch crashing into the roof of your RV. Oof, I guess their nest was in that branch. But you know what does sound good? You're covered with Progressive. So bundle all your vehicles and home in one place and save with the multi-policy discount. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water, pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading Bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, take 1290 wherever you go. Text app to 520-848-1290. We will send you a link to download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app so you can have it on your phone. Take us wherever you want to go. Let's talk some Arizona Wildcats athletics with the man that calls the games on the radio, both football and men's basketball, Brian Jeffries. And Brian, when we spoke to you on Friday in Oregon, we were so focused on basketball, I had forgotten that we hadn't really spoken to you since this busy month of January kind of started happening with the departure of Jed Fish, the arrival of Brent Brennan, the departure of Dave Heeke, which is forthcoming on Friday. You've been around athletics a long time. Does anything surprise you anymore? And have you seen a month like this in your tenure with so many things happening at once?
Well, it has been a little bit of a roller coaster. There's no doubt about that, and it's part of athletics, college athletics, pro sports, you name it. I mean, nothing's permanent, as they say, and change is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And the fact that a couple of things happened at the same period of time. I mean, yeah, that's unusual, but like I said, you kind of go on from there. I think if you get too caught up in it, in particular, when you have personnel changes, then you lose focus of the big picture. And the big picture is, the history, the current, and the future of Arizona athletics. And coaches come and go, players come and go, athletic directors come and go. I mean, like I said, except for the fact that it happened in a short period of time, this is nothing really new.
Let's talk. Do you have much remembrance of Brent Brennan when he was here as a graduate assistant? I mean, is obviously his connection with the Dick Tomey era and having coached under Tomey at San Jose State lends, and his brother obviously playing here as well, lends to some of the history of this program, having him now in that position?
Well, I certainly remember his brother. I don't remember Brent. I mean, there are a lot of graduate assistants, and they kind of get lost in the shuffle, and at least I don't deal with them on a regular basis. And so, No, to be honest with you, I probably said hello to him once or twice that year, if that. But like I said, I certainly remember his brother being here. But yeah, his connection to the U of A, I think, is very important. He knows the history. He knows this conference very well. You know, he's a West Coast guy, and I think when it comes to recruiting and when you're taking over a new program, I think to me, that's very important. And so he's able to step into this role with a great background of what the expectations are here, what the history has been in the past, and certainly, keeping an eye on Arizona over the years. And I think all coaches do that, where, if you're in one part of the country, you know something about pretty much every team in your part of the world. And so I think it's going to be, I'm not going to say it's an easy transition. It never is. For any coach coming in, there's always changes. And right now with the transfer portal, that has added to, I think, the stress of any new coach going to a new position in terms of how many players are going to be there on the roster once you kind of get your feet settled. How many new players are you going to bring in? And so I think it was an excellent hire. I really do. I've had a chance to talk to Brent now twice since he got hired, and he's a very genuine guy, very transparent. I think the fans are really going to love him if they don't already. I think they're going to really be attracted to his personality. And when you talk to the people at San Jose State, they just tell you, look, the guy is quality. He's got a great personality. He's got a great sense of humor, and the players really love playing for him. And I think the guys here will too. And that's one of the reasons why so many have decided to stay, because once they met him and understood what he's all about, they want to be part of this.
Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, is our guest. Let me ask you this question, Brian. I'd had a conversation with somebody after Jed Fish got hired, and he said, if he turns it around in 3 or 4 years, he's going to be gone. And my response at that time was, that's fine. I'm fine with that, because if he builds it and we're in a better place, then you just go find the next guy to keep that momentum going. But now that we're in this different era of NIL and player movement, do you believe it's even more critical to find a coach like Brent Brennan that you could potentially now, and we don't know. I mean, Brent could build this thing and he could leave too, but we get the sense that he's a guy that maybe sees this as a long-term situation versus a stepping stone situation.
Well, I think so. Just based again on his background and his connection to the program, and at this point in his career, this is a great spot for him. Arizona's in a great spot because of what they accomplished this past season, that you can come in and you don't have to rebuild. You've already got everything in place. The facilities are in good shape. You've got an excellent roster. You have, again, the power of this past season to recruit to, going into the Big 12, et cetera. There's a lot of positives there. And so, yeah, you hope somebody like Brent's going to stay around. I don't think that there are no guarantees. I mean, all you have to do is ask the folks at Washington. They thought they had their coach. And after 2 years, yeah. He goes to Alabama. You can't blame him. You don't say, how could you do this to us? The same thing, Jed Fish leaves. You can't say, hey, if he thought it was a better opportunity for him, you can't sit around and stew over that. The program's bigger than any coach or any of the players. And so because the program right now is in good shape going forward, you hope that, Brent's here for a long time. And I certainly hope so. And I think he's got a great chance to make this a long career here.
In terms of Dave Heeke, Brian, what do you believe his legacy would be? He got some things built while he was here. He got Hillenbrand Stadium, brand new facility there, got built. The Davis Center, I don't know if had started on that before he got here, but I believe that entire construction was during his tenure here. So in terms of facilities, he got some things built while he was here, and I think that's one of the things that he can hang his hat on.
Well, it's called keeping up with the Joneses, and that's just part of college athletics these days, where everybody's trying to make sure that their facilities are at the same level as other schools, because that's part of recruiting. And I would say that's certainly one of Dave's legacies, is the fact that he made sure that Arizona was in line with the other schools in the conference, and they'll be in line with other schools in the Big 12 as well. I know the one thing that he'd hoped to get started, and that was the west side of Arizona Stadium. They had plans, the pandemic hit, and so those are on hold right now. And maybe someday down the road, I mean, it's not something that is absolutely urgent. That's the good news. But I know that's one thing that he really wanted to get rolling. And so he steadied the ship, and that's so important these days. And since he arrived, transfer portal, NIL, it's all kind of come into play. And so when you have an athletic director that's able to steer the ship through those kind of waters, I think that'll be another part of his legacy, that he kept Arizona going in the right direction. And it's not easy. It is not easy for any athletic director in the country right now. It's a tough job. And so whoever steps into that role next, again, the things are going to be in a better place now here, thanks to Dave. But there are great challenges ahead, and everyone knows that. And I think you look for somebody that's eager to jump in and see what they can do, not only now, but whatever happens here in the future.
Hey, Brian, who got Caleb Love so angry that he went out and scored 36 points on Saturday?
I don't think he was angry. I will say this. That was obviously one of the Wildcats' best games of the season, and extremely difficult. I brought this up with Tommy on Monday night. Not many folks listening have ever been on a 2-game Pac-12 road trip before. It is a challenge, and I don't care if you're playing the bottom 2 teams in the conference, or in this place, the first place team in the conference and the last place team in the conference. It's everywhere you go, dealing with the travel is difficult. In particular, that second game, and you lose the first game, and it doubles the difficulty, again, no matter who you're playing that second game. And so I'll give the guys a lot of credit, because they had Friday. We stayed overnight in Corvallis on Thursday night and bussed down to Eugene on Friday afternoon. And I'll give those guys a lot of credit, because in a very short period of time, they were able to regather themselves, I think re-effort themselves. They were determined. Caleb certainly was. I think Kylan Boswell deserves a heck of a lot of credit, because, and he'll be the first to admit he had some tough games here down the road. I think he was a major factor in that game as well. And the other thing that I walked away from that game is Caleb had 36, but it was kind of a quiet 36. Everyone else had to play well. You had to play well to beat Oregon. One guy's not going to beat them. And so the fact that he was able to do that, I think every shot he took within the context of the offense, and it was just a heck of a game. Now, you don't expect him to go out and score 36, and they don't need him to score 36 every game. But I hope the guys understood, and you always learn lessons from every game. I hope they learned the lesson of, this is how we played early in the season against Duke and Wisconsin, etc. And I just got the feeling that they kind of got that edge back again. Now, we still got a lot of basketball left to be played, and there's some really tough games coming up, including a road trip next week that's going to be difficult. So, now the question is, the challenge is to string those performances together. And a lot of it, Cal's playing better basketball right now, so I think we're going to see a lot of evidence of that tomorrow night.
We were saying that Caleb is the 23rd player to score 35 or more points in a game. You've seen a few of these performances, Brian. I don't know if any of them kind of stand out to you. The night Damon scored 45 at Stanford, or maybe obviously Uzulis's performances last year. He scored 40. Is there one of those like dynamic scoring performances? Damon's performance at Washington State when he scored 40 points. That Jared scored, 39 against Arizona State one year. Is there one of those that you say, yeah, I remember that game, or that stand out in your memory?
Well, in Damon's case, I think yes, because they needed every one of those points to win the game. But I'll tell you the one that still stands out to me, and again, if you want to put a marker at 30 or more, that's fine. He didn't quite get to 30, but Salim Stoudemire's game at Kansas will always be one of my, and I want to say he had 27, 28. You'd have to go back and look in the record books. My memory starts to fade after a while. But in the second half of that game at Allen Fieldhouse, he simply took over. And you beat Kansas at Kansas. I don't care what year it was, and they were pretty good, and Arizona was good. That one I'll never forget. Ivan Rodenovic scored, almost 40 at Stanford. I remember that, and he was not a guy that you would never look at. Ivan was a heck of a player, but you would never sit there and expect him to go out and score 36, 37 points on a on a given night. So, like I said, if you're looking at that marker of 30 or more, I think you mentioned them there. And then you also got to think about the other guys too. And I'll mention one name and one name only, Jimmer Fredette. And I hate bringing it up, but I got to, because that's special. When you see a guy, you see Caleb score 36 like that, see what Fredette did. I mean, those are special games. And if you have a rooting interest, it can be good or bad. But if you just love college basketball, those are special games to watch.
Yeah, Ivan, 37 at Stanford in 2007, and that was right around the beginning of tournament time. So you like when those guys are getting hot like that at the end of the season as well. Brian, hey, have a great call. Great calls this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Thanks, David. See you.
Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, knowing all things University of Arizona athletics. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions clearing Irvington east of 12th Avenue, Camino Seco and 22nd Street, Ajo and Keno Ajo connection ramp, and also Craycroft north of River Road. And some busy traffic, Nogales Highway at Los Rieles, also Grant and Columbus. 56 the low tonight, tomorrow 76, rain starting tomorrow night into Friday, 77 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
When you get your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt, prepare to shout, Jackson Hewitt, yeah, from the rooftops. In the event you don't get your biggest refund, you'll get your money back, plus $100.
Did you know that the Chevy Silverado is the #1 best-selling full-size truck in Arizona? Did you know that O'Reilly Chevrolet has the largest selection of trucks in the valley? Now you do.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For JD Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Get a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of the wind in the trees as your RV sits parked in the forest. Is that the call of the majestic owl? And there's the sound of a tree branch crashing into the roof of your RV. Oof, I guess their nest was in that branch. But you know what does sound good? You're covered with Progressive. So bundle all your vehicles and home in one place and save with the multi-policy discount. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We got a lot coming up for you in store today. We're going to dive into the U of A financial situation in the next hour of the show and let you hear from interim CFO John Arnold as well as Chairman Duval about everything that is happening in terms of how they plan to solve this deficit, which is riding at $177 million right now. Let's, though, go back to the phone and chat with the head coach of the Arizona gymnastics team, the GymCats. His name is John Court, and on Saturday, his team put up a 197 in their victory over Stanford, the earliest in the program's history that they've gotten a 197 of 3 meets into the year. John, you guys have just absolutely been killing it so far. I mean, starting off the year with a 196.45, I was like, man, we don't usually see 196s this early. And then we see a 197. I mean, what's happening? What's in the punch over there right now?
Well, it's been a really good January, David. Thanks for having me on. And we're three weeks in to our season. We had a great opening night out in Utah with the ESPN Classic, which was broadcast nationwide on the ACC network. And, you know, the team certainly came to play that night and swept all the other teams there. We had a good home opener. And, of course, last week, defeating Stanford at home with the score of 197. So couldn't be happier. With the month of January, undefeated in the month of January, and getting ready to turn the page and head off to Pauling Pavilion to match up with UCLA on Sunday.
Yeah, that's always a tough one for sure. When you went into this season, did you feel like you had a squad that was capable of doing this and doing it this early?
Yes, we did. We knew about a year and a half ago, when you plan out this year's roster, we said, if we can stay healthy, which is the magic word for any athletic team, but we said if we can stay healthy, you know, have some really good buy-in and commitment, and have a little bit of luck, we can get out of the gate. And we were able to do that. We've had a couple of injuries, that is for sure, and we've had to rally as a team. But it has not affected us, and we're pushing forward into the second half or the middle half of the season, and it's just all gas and no brakes.
And you look at this roster, and it's just a fabulous group of seniors, I think, that you have. And I know every coach will say that if you've got, solid veterans, like a Carolyn Harry or a Malia Hargrove, Jessica Castles, Madison Corney, girls that have been there before, and Alina Dietz who have done it, that's the key to any successful team. And I think it's played a lot to what we've seen during this COVID era during the women's sports is because a lot of these young women, they do want to stay for that 5th year and either see how far they can take the athletic thing as well as, finishing up and having opportunity to grow themselves on the academic side as well.
Absolutely. We certainly we took advantage of the COVID year with Malia, and a few years back, you look at your recruiting outline, you say, hey, you might want to save a scholarship for that COVID year for somebody, and see what happens. The seniors have been, obviously with the program with me for 4 years. They really came in to change the game. Every year we ask our seniors to leave the program better than when they found it. This class will be no different, but they have a lot of experience. We rely on them for about 8 to 10 out of our 24 routines that we do, and they play at a high level. They're in a good spot, and they are enjoying the fruits of their labor. They like seeing the big scores. They like getting rewarded for their efforts. They like accomplishing the goals that we set out in the gym. We also have a team of 21, so when we're at home and it's a loud atmosphere just from our roster alone, but then when you add everyone that shows up to last week, that was pretty special.
John Court is joining us, the head coach of Arizona women's gymnastics. The ladies with a 197 in their win over Stanford and a program record on the uneven bars. And I know that it seems, at least, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that's been an event that's been a struggle recently for you guys. But it appears now this year you have a number of girls who are capable of scoring high, including some younger talent on your roster in Abigail Martin and Sophie Durr, who are kind of just coming into the program, who seem to be excelling very well in that particular discipline.
It has been an event that's taken us a little while to get some traction on. In prior years, I will 1,000% agree with you. It's been a dress-through recruiting with the addition of some very, very key freshmen. Everybody is capable of going 9-9, and there's also some alternates just as competitive. And Kylie does a great job. My assistant coach, Kylie Cotchwell, she's over there, primary uneven bars coach, and she's brought a new light, new bit of energy and technical expertise to the event. The athletes have bought in to what she does every day in practice and the things that she wants in the workout. And it's a two-way street, right? As coaches, you can want one thing, but if the athletes want another, it's not going to work. Everybody has to be on the same page, and we are that way across all 4 of our events. But it's great to see the growth on bars. It's been very exciting. Last week when they announced that we tied the record, I was like, wow, I guess we did. And we still left some stuff out there. So I said, hey, let's see what else we can do this year. But it has the makings of a very, very special year. All the events we want to stay balanced. I think balance team is still our most talented event. Taylor Spears coaches balance team, and they have an entirely veteran lineup over there. And I would not be surprised if the beam and bar records both fall in the 2024 season.
Yeah, tell us a bit about, obviously, last time out, Elena Dietz kind of led the beam there. That's a name, obviously, and a young lady that we've seen over the years. But how's she grown in the program?
Len's been great. She's perfectly balanced as a student athlete between the academics, the athletic commitment, and also the personal growth. She does a lot of things that people don't even know about, but she makes sure that she takes care of herself. She does the things that she needs to be able to, whether it's ace a test or get a 9-9. She's a tri-captain this year, so she plays a leadership role, especially with our younger athletes. Couldn't say more positive things about her, and she's one of the reasons that we are having the success that we are.
Yeah, we had a chance a few weeks ago to talk to Allison Fears, another one of your veterans. What type of leader has she evolved into during her time here?
Allie is someone that a lot of gymnasts strive to be like. I always say with Allie, she is low maintenance, high productivity. So every coach wants that, right? And she's able to practice at a high level very, very consistently every single day. And this time of year, it's not about training harder, it's about training smarter. because we have to make sure that we peak for the weekends and for the competitions, whether it's one meet or two competitions. And we really know what we're getting with Allie when she's out there. And, she missed a little bit of last year due to injury, able to come back, but it's been nice to have her on all four events right now. And a week ago, she was awarded the Pac-12 Coaches Choice Award, which was really nice too. Very well deserving.
John Court joining us. He is the head coach of Arizona Gymnastics. The GymCats are on the road coming up at UCLA this week against the always powerful Bruins. How's this whole new Big 12 thing? What's that going to do on the gymnastics side? Obviously one of the teams that's leaving, Oklahoma's very powerful in that respect. But how do you feel like your program fits into this new conference starting next year?
Well, we're certainly looking forward to that. We want to make sure that we dot the I's and cross the T's this year before we transition over. But going into the Big 12 will be the first year that the Big 12 has had multiple gymnastics teams. It's going to be 8 as of right now, unless the conference keeps expanding, then there could be more. If I look at what's going on right now in the Big 12, and if I look at what's going on right now with our program, we're just by today's numbers, we're ranked higher in the Big 12 than we are in the Pac-12. But anything can change in a year. But I've been watching the numbers since we knew that this could happen, and we're excited about the transition. I think it's a very, very good opportunity for our gymnastics program and student athletes. I only see it going north. I see our planes going a little bit more east. But at the end of the day, we get to come back to sunny Arizona and 70 degrees in January. Not too bad.
John, obviously, we're coming to the end of Dave Heeke's tenure here at the University of Arizona later this week. He was the guy that put you into this position as the head coach. Just your memories, your thoughts of him, your experience with him, and what that was like going through that process after Tabitha Yim left, and you I guess laying out your case to him for why you should be the guy to take over the program.
Well, Dave's been extremely just great for me. He's a great man. He really is, and he's a very good athletic director. Tons of experience, and yes, he did give me my second start as a head coach, and I'm forever grateful for that. He kind of put the ball in my hands and he said, "Coach, it's yours. Let's do something with it, and I'm behind you." And gosh, it doesn't matter what age you're at when someone says that to you and gives you that confidence in that role, you never forget that. And that's something that I will always remember and cherish. And when I came out of the interim role, not the interim role, when Tabitha left to go to Stanford, before I was even named interim, he was just named athletic director. So he didn't know me from anybody. And I'm sure he did his due diligence. He talked to some people, and I've been around, and I was just thankful for the opportunity. Was interim head coach a little longer than I would have liked, for sure. It's always a little bit of a stressor. That's a different conversation, maybe off air. But I think it's for me, it worked out. We certainly did some things. We made some hard decisions during that time, but I had a plan. And today's plan is different than 10 years ago's plan. You have to adapt. You have to change some things around. And he's like, okay, I like this. Let's go forward with it. And every year we have gotten better. Every year we have moved the needle. We've finished the regular season ranked higher than the previous season. And as a coach, you want to have that growth for your program and for your athletes, and we've been able to do that, certainly the last 5 years. So I'm in year 6 right now. Grateful for the opportunity, and always honored to lead the program. And we're just really looking forward to this year, and also not only gymnastics, but we got a lot going on right now. So we got the basketball, men's basketball. Clancy and Ryan are crushing it, and tennis, track's going on. So I love our wing, and our office wing. We're really supportive of each other, and just looking forward to finishing the year strong. But I go week by week when it comes to competition. So right now I am just focused on Sunday and making sure we can get out of Tucson on time and land in LA, have a great and safe meet, and get back.
Real quick, John, what are the NIL opportunities like for your girls? Have your girls been able to take part in that since it all got going?
I have a few that are doing it. Personally, as a coach, I stay out of it a little bit. The Arizona Edge program is very, very good, and I think it's something that on the women's side, I think people need to get more involved in. 1,000%. When you look at the growth of women's athletics, women's gymnastics, I feel that they should be awarded and afforded every single opportunity as a male athlete, and NIL is part of that. And so I think it's something that there needs to be more growth in it, both for gymnastics here at Arizona, but for women's athletics across the board and at Arizona. So maybe down the line we see increases in that, but it's only 2 years old. It kind of it was a horse that ran out of the barn with no direction, and it went a little bit everywhere. So I think that over the next couple of years, I think hopefully, my own opinion, there's some guardrails and bumpers put up into what you can do and what you can't do, but I'm 1,000% for it. And if any one of the athletes gets a chance to take advantage of it, their name, image, and likeness, I'm all for that.
Hey, John, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Best of luck at UCLA this weekend, and as the season continues, keep posting those numbers.
Absolutely. We're going to do that. Thanks for having me on. Next home meet is going to be against ASU in a couple weeks, so hopefully we get back on the show. We can promote that, maybe get some of the student athletes on the show.
Absolutely. We will look forward to that. Thanks a lot, John.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bear down.
Bear down indeed. Yeah, Arizona State will be in town. That'll be a Thursday night meet on February the 15th at McHale Center. So nice to have the Sun Devils come to town, get out there and support these ladies because they are off to a really great start. UCLA this weekend, California next weekend, and then Arizona State at home on the 15th. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives. We're going to dive into this whole financial situation at the U of A in the 4 o'clock hour. I've got J.W. Madden. I've got Cricket. I'm David Kelly. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together with collisions reported at 1st Avenue and Roger Road, Fort Lowell west of Stone Avenue, a bicyclist struck, Irvington east of 12th Avenue, Ajo and Keno, and also Craycroft north of River Road. And for your weather, 56 the low. Tomorrow, 76 with rain tomorrow night into Friday, 77 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
When you get your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt, prepare to shout, Jackson Hewitt, yeah, from the rooftops. In the event you don't get your biggest refund, you'll get your money back, plus $100.
Happy New Year, guys. That was right in my ear.
Oh, good. I see you're doing the whole baby New Year costume with the diaper and the sash.
Time to make resolutions. I resolved not to look at you dressed like that. People should start the new year by fixing up their heating and air system.
That's true. Alaskan AC can fix the stuff other companies can't.
Again, right in my ear. Plus, the Grizzly.
Right. The Grizzly is our custom-built AC made to take a chomp out of Arizona summers.
Still winter, guys. And we can fix up heaters to save our customers gobs of money. Gobs.
We believe in fixing before replacing.
What's a gob?
An Alaskified system is one that will last longer
and is guaranteed to be repair-free for an entire year. Woohoo! I swear, one more time with that thing.
Good resolution, Gary. Let's get out there and help people fix up their systems and save some real money.
All right. Probably should have told him to put some clothes on first.
Yeah.
Schedule now at AlaskanAC.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 wants to send you to Las Vegas for the big game weekend. Airfare, a 2-night stay in Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and more. Text the word CARDS to 95819 now for your chance to win on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre Chris Brockman every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast as we dive into the latest headlines across the NFL playoffs. Are you ready, Chris Brockman?
Just as handsome as ever, buddy.
I appreciate you saying that, and I wish I could say the same to you.
Come on.
There is a ton to overreact to, as now every other team that didn't make the playoffs, they're already looking forward to next year.
Yep.
Come react or overreact with us leading up to the big game. Overreaction Monday, wherever you listen.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
Those stomach issues ruined your birthday.
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey, Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 of the program, DK on the Sports Tip. We want to talk to you today, 578. There we go. That was the first time in a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time since we threw that out there. 520-848-1290. It's the 848 that rhymes with the 520 and becomes 578, which is a number I used to say all the time in another city. 848-1290 is the number to get in on the program today. Thanks to Brian Jeffries and John Court for joining us in the first hour of the program, talking Arizona athletics and Arizona gymnastics. Again, the GymCats just off to a great start. Looking forward to what this season is going to be for those ladies as they dive into Pac-12 conference play. They've got one win. They'll go on the road now to UCLA and Cal, which are not easy places to win by any means, but they've got a team this year that's capable of putting up high numbers, or at least putting up good and winnable numbers in those two places. So looking forward to seeing what happens with those ladies as they head out onto the road now. All right, we are sending you a lot of places, and I want to tell you about one of those places we're sending you, and we are going to send somebody to the Pac-12 basketball tournament in Las Vegas in mid-March at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. This is what you get. If you head on over to our website right now, wildcatsradio1290.com, and sign up for your enter to win a trip to Las Vegas for the tournament, we're going to give you 2 all-session passes for the 4-day event, $1,000 in cash cards to cover your travel, hotel, whatever you want to do in Las Vegas. If you want to, what do they have? The zip lining.
Don't tell our listeners they could do whatever they want in Vegas. I think they already know that.
They have the zip lining downtown on, what's the old part of the downtown? What do they call that? The downtown part of Las Vegas? That street. What's it called?
Oh, Las Vegas Boulevard, you mean?
No, it's, oh gosh.
The Strip?
The street downtown at the, I forget the name of the street. It'll come to me later. But anyway, they've got zip lining down there. You can zip line, and it's not really, I guess it's somewhat like zip lining. It's like a wire. You basically ride this wire all the way down the block, above the block. So, like, people are walking below you, and then you're, like, flying above them on this wire. It's really cool. I've never done it.
Don't walk under drunk people flying on a wire in Las Vegas, people. Don't do it.
That's probably not. I hope they don't let anybody drunk get up on that, because that would be that could be a potentially.
I think everybody's drunk on the Strip, first and foremost.
Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Fremont Street.
Fremont, yeah.
Yeah, Fremont Street. So, so if you want to spend part of that $1,000 zip lining above people on Fremont Street, you can do that. Head on over right now, wildcatsradio1290.com. All the details for this contest, including the rules. Once again, it's a trip to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament, the final Pac-12 men's basketball tournament, March 13th through the 16th at the T-Mobile Arena. 2 all-session passes for the tournament, $1,000 in cash cards to spend on whatever you want. Good luck from Coors Light and Wildcats Radio 1290. Later on, I'm going to tell you about how you can potentially win a trip to Las Vegas for the big game next week. So we are just sending you all over the place. All right, let's dive into this University of Arizona financial situation. And just to kind of reset, this is not just an athletics thing. It's a university problem, and I'm going to let these guys do the talking that were in front of this meeting that took place on Monday on campus. It was Dr. Robert C. Robbins, President Robbins. It was the interim CFO, John Arnold, who is also the executive director of the Board of Regents. It is Regent Chair Fred Duvall were among the folks who spoke at this meeting on Monday. And we're going to start with Regent Chair Fred Duvall as he explains what exactly happened.
Last fall, as you know, the board's financial oversight process detected a precipitous decline in cash on hand at the University of Arizona. The board took immediate action. First, we asked the president to provide us a remediation plan in December. Second, we immediately adopted financial oversight enhancements and new expectations for all 3 of Arizona's public universities to guide financial processes and board governance to give us the tools to make sure that this never happens again. The board is now asking this president, President Robbins, to accept this responsibility, accelerate his work, and fix this problem. It happened under his leadership, and we expect him to fix it.
All right, so this is Arizona Regent Chair Fred Duvall. And the next part of this, and I'm going to kind of give you this as they all spoke. So we'll give you all the Fred Duvall stuff first, and then we'll get to John Arnold, who's kind of the guy that's been charged with fixing this mess. Fred Duvall explains next how this plans to be addressed. This shortfall of what we'll find out later from John Arnold is now being estimated at $177 million.
There are some national factors to be sure, COVID, athletics, and others, and some factors that are unique to this university and how it has been operating. There will be changes here. The changes will be far-reaching, many will be difficult, and they are all necessary. If we do this correctly, these changes will place the University of Arizona on a stronger footing, one that will provide the foundations for long-term success. But know this, above all, everything we do will be in service of our primary obligation to serve the students and to assure the long-term success of this great and special institution. This board will lead a process that is accelerated, that is transparent, and will hold people accountable. We start by making 3 absolute red line commitments. 1, we will not break promises to any current student. 2, we will not cut needs-based aid for any Arizona student. 3, we will not touch retirement benefits for faculty and staff. Those simply are off the table. What we will do is bring strong, decisive action. And speed is important. Let's be clear. We don't have the benefit of time. Every day that we operate digs us, the way we have been, digs us a deeper hole. Consultation will absolutely improve our work, but undue delay will make turnaround more difficult. So I'm asking everyone on this campus that is involved to raise your line of sight. This is a university-wide problem, and we must address it university-wide. We are all too often used to thinking about our department or our school. I am asking that you think about this as our university.
All right, so now here's what Fred Duvall, the, again, chairman of the Arizona Board of Regents, says will happen next.
Last fall, as you know, the board's financial oversight process detected a precipitous decline in cash.
All right, hold on. I messed that up. Let me go here. Sorry. Fred Duvall addressed that there are that the university will be getting third-party assistance to help with this issue.
ABOR has retained 2 nationally renowned forensic firms with significant higher education experience to provide third-party advice and validation for the information that we are producing and decisions that we are making. We want to not only ensure that nothing was missed, but also triple-check our work.
All right, I want to stop there because that brings us to our question of the day. And one of the things, and we read you what Governor Katie Hobbs put out last week, and she's not on board with the regions being the ones handling this problem. She wants a completely outside source to come in and take a hold of the situation. That would be a good way of putting it. That would be a good trust issues would be a very good way of putting it. So our question to you today, and you can head on over to our Twitter page at Wildcats1290, is do you feel U of A needs to completely hand managing of this financial recovery to an outside third party rather than allowing the Arizona Board of Regents and President Dr. Robert C. Robbins to handle it from the inside out? And when I say the inside out, pointing back to what Chairman Duvall just said there, is they are going to have some outside counsel in how to handle this, but for the most part, this is going to be dealt with from the inside of the university. Many people don't want to see that happen. Many people are fine with it. Where do you stand on that? Do you feel U of A is capable of doing this themselves, digging themselves out of this hole, figuring it out for themselves, or would you rather see somebody totally outside the university come in and tell the U of A what they need to do? Head on over right now to our Twitter page at Wildcats1290 and vote in our poll. So yes or no question. Yes, you feel U of A needs to completely hand managing a financial recovery to an outside third party. No, let's let Dr. Robbins fix it. He got us into it. He should be the one to fix it. Right now, 84% of you saying, yes, outside eyes need to come in and handle this financial recovery for the University of Arizona. Tom Henry checks in. I'll give you a third option. Fire Robbins and hire a new financially smart president with integrity and let her/him fix it. Okay? There's the third options. We welcome third options for sure.
I've heard that one thrown around a bit.
Yeah.
The last few weeks.
I've heard it. I joke how when at the men's basketball game, I shoot from the camera, the midsection camera bay where the network cameras are. I've heard it come from above me a number of times during games. Yeah, I hear a lot of things coming from behind me from that crowd that sits courtside above the south. I think that's above the south side of the building.
They got
there.
a lot of thoughts.
They have a lot of that, and they're not afraid to share those thoughts. All right, let's get to Mr. Arnold. Mr. John Arnold. He is the interim CFO. He was brought in by the Regents. He is a Regent. He's the executive director of the Regents. They brought him in because he apparently is equipped and has his history of knowing how to budget things, okay? So he's the guy that they've brought in to try and fix this whole thing. So let's start with him, and we'll get through some of these and more in the next segment. But John Arnold here talks about the core of what led to the issues that Arizona. Well, let's start on this one. First we'll have him outline the situation from his standpoint.
What we have found through that 6 weeks is we believe the university is currently operating with about $177 million operating deficit. That's a big number, but it is a correctable number. Additionally, we've identified this issue in time. The university is not currently in any kind of financial jeopardy. We started the year with over $700 million in the bank. We are okay. The university is not in any imminent danger. However, our spending patterns are dangerous, and we're going to have to turn that cost curve over the next several months. While we need to work with some pace as we do that, we do have some time to work with deliberation. So we are looking to solve this problem over the next 18 to 36 months, and we're going to need all of your cooperation to do so.
All right, so it doesn't, to me, at least the way I'm hearing this, and I've listened to this press conference, I listened to the one last week, it doesn't sound like anything, quote, nefarious happened here. Like what was the term that he used last week? Like $240 million just went poof.
Yeah, something about a poof.
Yeah,
fairy poofed it away.
Fairies poofing stuff away. It doesn't sound like that's what happened here. It just sounds like that this university did not have an adequate system in place for how all of their entities were spending the money being allotted to them. That's what it sounds like. We'll go on with Mr. Arnold here, basically allowing now what led to this $177 million situation.
First, the university has some structural problems. Over the last 10 years, the university has used 3 different budget models. We started off, we were using a standard incremental budgeting process. Then we moved to responsibility-centered management, RCM, as I think you all know, and then on to AIB. RCM and AIB are revenue allocation models. They're not really budget models. And what the university saw over the last 10 years is a disconnect between cost and resource allocation. We're allocating resources based on activity, but we weren't really thinking about what does it cost to produce those activities. And so we are misallocating the resources we have on campus today.
All right, so in other words, they had a bad system in place at the University of Arizona. It was actually something that Dr. Robbins claims he was aware of, and when he got there, that the system was not good. This is the system that Arizona has is a system that other universities use and have success with. It just apparently does not appear that Arizona had these systems in place to manage it to where it would work correctly for them. So that's the first thing that needs to be fixed. We'll continue with hearing from interim CFO John Arnold, but we got to make sure you get home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Let's hear from Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collision on eastbound I-10 near Ajo Kino, a state of the right to get you by, and there are some backups both directions on I-10. As you approach the Ajo Kino connection, also reported 1st Avenue and Roger Road and clearing Craycroft north of River. 56, the overnight low tomorrow, 76. Rain expected tomorrow night into Friday, 77 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Happy New Year, guys. That was right in my ear.
Oh, good. I see you're doing the whole baby New Year costume with the diaper and the sash.
Time to make resolutions. I resolved not to look at you dressed like that. People should start the new year by fixing up their heating and air system.
That's true. Alaskan AC can fix the stuff other companies can't.
Again, right in my ear. Plus, the Grizzly.
Right. The Grizzly is our custom-built AC made to take a chomp out of Arizona summers.
Still winter, guys. And we can fix up heaters to save our customers gobs of money. Gobs.
We believe in fixing before replacing.
What's a gob?
An Alaska-fied system is one that will last longer
and is guaranteed to be repair-free for an entire year. Woohoo! I swear, one more time with that thing.
Good resolution, Gary. Let's get out there and help people fix up their systems and save some real money.
All right. Probably should have told him to put some clothes on first.
Yeah.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Recently, Lerner & Rowe was named the second most influential law firm in the United States. Although we have offices in other parts of the country, Glenn and I both live here and raise our families here. We are your local law firm. No other law firm in the state comes close to the experience, reputation, and results as Lerner & Rowe. When you're hurt in a wreck and need a check, call the law firm that can get you the results you need. Call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Get a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
Football's biggest game day is finally here. Total Wine and More is ready with spirits and beer. With thousands of options, our selection can't be beat, and our prices are the lowest no store can compete. Only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in wash scent beads.
Football's biggest game day is finally here. Total Wine and More is ready with spirits and beer. With thousands of options, our selection can't be beat, and our prices are the lowest no store can compete. Only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. I knew we could not put off getting life insurance. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050 or go to SelectQuote.com now. That's 1-800-452-5050. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We are talking about the financial situation at the University of Arizona and what the next steps in that and correcting that are going to be. Our question of the day. Right now, the way this whole thing is set up, the Board of Regents have a team in place, essentially an internal team in place to fix the problem. One made up of Dr. Robert C. Robbins, the current president at the University of Arizona. Also on that team is the executive director of the Board of Regents, John Arnold. He is on the team, and they're allowing these two gentlemen, along with others, to fix this from an internal standpoint. Do you believe that is the right way to do this? And our question is, do you feel U of A needs to completely hand managing of its financial recovery to an outside third party rather than allowing the Regents and Dr. Robbins to handle it from the inside out? Obviously, there are two answers here. Yes, U of A should be completely out of fixing this mess. No, Dr. Robert C. Robbins got us into this and should be the one to get us out of this. Jody Luna checks in on Facebook. She says, I think the Arizona Board of Regents should handle this issue. Why pay third parties private rates and incur more expenses? The state and government should handle it. That's from Jody Luna checking in on Facebook. You can send us your thoughts on this on any of our number of platforms, preferably on Facebook at Wildcats Radio 1290 or on Twitter at Wildcats 1290. We've got a couple of people checking in on the text groove. Pete says, don't trust the inside people. There you go. Don't trust the inside people, which kind of lends to one of the things that we were talking about last week in terms of the athletics part of this, and we'll get into that in this segment. Who's going to be the new athletics director at the University of Arizona? And one of the names that I threw out there was Erica Hansen-Barnes, who is currently an associate athletics director at the University of Arizona. And there were people who said, no, she's a part of this mess. She should not be promoted internally to that chair. It should be somebody completely from the outside. That's what some people have said as it relates to the athletics side of this argument. Again, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Let's get back to interim CFO John Arnold. We've got three more things to hear from him on this. First and foremost is this $177 million. He's estimating that's where we are, and he said he even put 10% more on that because they anticipate they're going to find out more things in terms of budget shortfalls. So he's actually estimating it now to as close as $195 million. To be frank, though, again, this is not a dire situation. The university had over $700 million at the beginning of the year. They're going to have close to $500 million at the end of the year. So it's not like the university is in a dire financial situation. But this is not good, and you've got to cut this spending now before it gets itself into an even worse situation. But where did the money go, John Arnold?
So many people ask me, well, where did the money go? What happened? And if we've gone through this, really three things. We invested in students through excessive financial aid. We invested in faculty and staff, trying to retain and attract faculty and staff, largely through salary increases. And athletics. We absorbed a $30 to $35 million hit that the university has not had in the past. So actions taken to date, you're all aware of these. Hiring freeze, compensation freeze, procurement freeze, travel restrictions. These are temporary actions. We put those in place to slow spending in the current fiscal year, to give us a chance to get our arms around what was going on in campus. Now we're going to have to move to permanent solutions. These will all be lifted on July 1st, but it'll be because we're implementing permanent solutions at that time.
All right, so let's go back now and get his version of what we heard in the last segment from Chairman Duvall about what's not going to happen in terms of how they're going to try to fix this mess.
How will we move forward? So everybody gets nervous at this part. Before I start on that, let me tell you what we're not going to do. And Regent Duvall noted a couple of these already. We are not going to reduce need-based aid for Arizona students. The board and the president, myself, we believe we have a moral obligation to bring Arizona students to this campus, and we're going to do everything we can to do that. We will not be reducing need and merit-based aid for any current or accepted student. We've made commitments to those students. This university is going to keep those commitments. We will not be eliminating tuition guarantees for any current or accepted student. We will not be instituting furloughs. Again, that is a temporary measure. We need permanent measures. And we will not be reducing or touching any retirement benefits.
All right, so students that get aid are safe. If you work at the university, they're not going to mess with any of your retirement or any of that kind of thing. All right, so that's what's not going to happen. Now, there are a lot of things that are going to happen, but we're only going to today get into the athletics side of what John Arnold believed needs to happen. So this is the most important part as it relates to athletics and what the plan is over the course of the next 18 to 36 months.
So what are we going to do? We're going to start with athletics. As Regent Duval noted, we'll be bringing in a third-party national accounting firm to help with that process, both to verify the information inside the athletics department and help us review the administrative structure there, make sure we're operating the most efficient and effective athletics department in the country. We're going to reset their budget. We will install hard caps on spending, meaning the university has to be able to plan for what we're going to spend on athletics and then live within that plan. We need to enhance the revenue outcomes at athletics. Revenues for this year are projected to be about the same as they were prior to COVID. Now, there was a significant dip in revenues during COVID, but we haven't seen any sustainable revenue growth in athletics for 6-7 years now. We need to get after that and see if we can change that. Does that mean the cost of hot dogs at McKell are probably going up? The answer to that is yes.
I'm going to pause it right there. Does that mean the cost of hot dogs at McHale are going up?
I mean, how much markup are we talking here?
The answer to that is yes. He was very clear about that. Your, what do they call it? My favorite thing to get at so now my pausing clause, you know the pausing clause, right, J-Dub?
Remind me.
So pausing clause is the chicken nuggets and fries.
Right.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to get. So now my pausing clause are going from probably going to go from $8 to probably close to $12 now. So get ready for that, Arizona Wildcat fans. Your hot dog, your pausing clause, it's all going up.
But ultimately, we're going to have to set some long-term goals about what we want out of the university athletics. And then we're going to have to be realistic about funding those goals. The idea that athletics can operate as a standalone, self-sustaining unit of the university moving forward is probably not realistic.
I want to stop it right there. That's the next significant thing that I heard from John Arnold, because athletics has always been a self-operating arm of this university. But in whatever the future is going to be of Arizona athletics, that might not be the case anymore.
Now, they operate in the black, right, forever, right?
John Perrin, and for those of you that don't know who John Perrin is, John Perrin was the CFO under primarily, I knew him under the regime of Jim Livengood. I believe he was there well before Jim Livengood, but he was the guy charged with keeping that program in the black. They were in the black for more than 15 years. I have to go back and find out exactly what the number is, but they were always in the black. And then JP retired, and since that time, they have not been in the black. But he was the guy. John, and we might have to see. I think he still lives here. We might have to get John Perrin on the show to kind of talk, because he would be the guy to be speaking at length about, what they used to do, how they used to do it, maybe some of the things that changed.
Everything
after he retired.
Changed, DK.
Well,
in the last 4 years, everything has changed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was operating in a totally different athletic plane,
a different universe
than what they're operating now. We continue with John Arnold.
So we just all need to decide. I think it is a community conversation led by the president and the board. So what do we want out of this program? And then we're going to have to be realistic about what that costs. And let me just say, We love our student athletes and are so proud of all the work and time and effort that they put in. They represent this university with pride and distinction, and we do not want to mess with that student experience. We're going to start with the administrative side of athletics, and that's what we're talking about here. We're going to try to protect those students.
Now, the administrative side of athletics. Now, what does that mean exactly? I mean, is that because, like you said, we're going to protect the students. And even Dave Heeke had said that we do not want to cut things that directly affect the students. Okay, so that I would think that means you're not going to cut academics stuff. Like you're not gonna trim people that are working in the Clements building with helping the kids with their studies. Now, again, can you cut some of the ways some of these teams are traveling? And I mentioned the charter flights. I mean, yes, it's easier for these kids if they can, go right from the game and get on an airplane and come back in some instances. And football, you almost have to fly charter. There's really no other way to go about that. But some of these smaller teams, maybe they don't fly charter anymore. I'm sorry, Tommy. Maybe your team has to get on a plane with regular people starting for is he going to like that? Maybe not, but again, I'll go back to when I was traveling with college basketball, we walked through airports and flew with everybody else. I know they don't really do that anymore. Maybe that is an expense that needs to be trimmed. I'm throwing out. I want to hear what you think needs to be trimmed off the top. 520-848-1290. I'm just talking about stuff I know because I've been in that as somebody that traveled with a college basketball team for 3 years. I know that side of it.
Motels.
Hotels.
Motels.
Motels. Maybe, let's just say maybe less higher end hotels. I don't know if I want to.
That's where I was going with that.
I don't know if I want to put the M involved. I don't know if I want to put the M in there just yet. All right, we'll continue this conversation. Cricket, what is happening on the streets of Tucson?
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. On the eastbound side of I-10 near Ajo Kino, collision occurred there. Stay right to get you by. Backups for both directions of traffic on I-10 as you approach the Ajo Kino connection. An earlier wreck at First and Roger Road. Some backups on westbound Speedway at I-10, westbound Ajo at Mission, and also on southbound Nogales Highway at Los Reales. And your weather, 56 the low, tomorrow 76. Rain expected tomorrow night into Friday, and 77 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
When you get your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt, prepare to shout, Jackson Hewitt, yeah, from the rooftops. In the event you don't get your biggest refund, you'll get your money back, plus $100.
You know, there are times when you just want a new truck and times when you just need a new truck. So if either of those times are right now, O'Reilly has the time for you.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Happy New Year, guys. That was right in my ear.
Oh, good. I see you're doing the whole baby New Year costume with the diaper and the sash.
Time to make resolutions. I resolved not to look at you dressed like that. People should start the new year by fixing up their heating and air system.
That's true. Alaskan AC can fix the stuff other companies can't.
Again, right in my ear. Plus, the Grizzly.
Right. The Grizzly is our custom-built AC made to take a chomp out of Arizona summers.
Still winter, guys. And we can fix up heaters to save our customers gobs of money. Gobs.
We believe in fixing before replacing.
What's a gob?
An Alaska-fied system is one that will last longer
and is guaranteed to be repair-free for an entire year. Woohoo! I swear, one more time with that thing.
Good resolution, Gary. Let's get out there and help people fix up their systems and save some real money.
All right. Probably should have told him to put some clothes on first.
Yeah.
Schedule now at AlaskanAC.com.
Arizona Complete Health means more than health insurance to me. They're my healthcare partner. We get the care we need from doctors we choose, and even earn rewards for healthy things we're already doing. And with Marketplace, Medicaid, and Medicare options, I have coverage to protect my family's health wherever life takes us.
Arizona Complete Health, a plan for life. Visit planforlifeaz.com to find coverage that works for you.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you could save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
We're celebrating 99 years, 8 seconds at a time. The 99th La Fiesta de los Vaqueros Tucson Rodeo returns February 17th to 25th with action-packed fun for the whole family. Plus delicious food, beer garden, shopping, kids activities, and the Coors Barn Dance. La Fiesta de los Vaqueros Tucson Rodeo, February 17th through 25th at the Tucson Rodeo Grounds. Get your tickets today at 520-741-2233 or TucsonRodeo.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-5040. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-5040 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-5040 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-5040.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike your real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. This Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from Tesoro Latin Kitchen and Cantina. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. This sweet deal will go on sale Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. at WildcatsRadio1290.com. DeSoto Latin Kitchen and Cantina offers 3 full-service bars, an inside-outside patio. You can join them for lunch, dinner, happy hour, as well, with a lovely atmosphere of Latin music, decor, and classic and modern dishes inspired by multiple Spanish and Latin countries. Happy hour, in fact, gets happy in just 18 minutes and lasts until 7 o'clock. $5 selected tequila, 2 tacos with rice and beans, all of that during happy hour. Late night activities as well at Tesoro Latin Kitchen and Cantina. Be ready for high energy salsa, merengue, samba, reggaeton, accompanied by ice cold beer. Is there anything better than ice cold beer and beautifully crafted cocktails? Tesoro Latin Kitchen and Cantina. It's located on the northeast corner of Oracle and Wetmore. You can find them online at TesoroTucson.com. So that we could walk there. Oracle and Wetmore, right? That's walkable. That's right here.
Pretty
in the
darn
CNWT.
close.
That is walkable.
Get
for
some
us.
chicken on the way over.
Get some chicken nuevo. I'm gonna have to try it. I'll see if they're better than El Pueblo Feliz, man, because that was the spot for a number of years here on the corner of Oracle and Roger in our neighborhood. All right, again, a sweet deal this Friday. Tesoro Latin Kitchen and Cantina, a $50 gift certificate for just $25. This sweet deal goes on sale Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. Head on over to wildcatsradio1290.com. Also, coming up in the next hour, I'm going to tell you how you can win a trip to Las Vegas next weekend for the big game weekend, to see the superb owl.
Superb owl. You can see the superb owl anytime. Just go online. It's right there.
Right there. Looking forward to that.
There are many superb owls. For the record, there's a lot of them.
Okay. Talking about the U of A financial situation, Paul in Phoenix checks in. We need a Costco food truck to simply sell hot dogs before the game prior to people entering the stadium. That should solve the problem. Because in case you weren't with us in our last segment, Regent Executive Director John Arnold says that the cost of hot dogs could go up.
I think they operated a loss last I checked. Costco.
Costco's?
Yeah,
they're operating a loss too?
On their hot dogs and on their chickens, on their roasted chickens, they sell at a loss. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Is anybody in the black right now? Anybody at all?
I got 8 staples over here.
8 staples. We have a caller that checks in on the text groove with a Pennsylvania area code who says, with the budget cuts imminent, is Tommy Lloyd's job safe? Well, Tommy's job is probably safe. I don't think there's any question about that. Now, are there some administrative folks on Tommy's staff who might not be safe? That's possible. But again, when you're talking about the big dogs, is that where they're going to make cuts? I mean, there are essentially 3 teams that bring in the money: football, men's and women's basketball. Are they cutting? If they got to make cuts, are we cutting from those teams? Are we cutting from other teams? Are we cutting, administratively from the top? Maybe we've got one too many associate athletic directors. You hate to say that. You hate to say, there's been a lot of folks that have been in that building for a long time. You hate to see any of them asked to retire or whatever. But what does that mean? How does that look? Where are they going to find 15%? Is that easy to cut without it trickling down to the kids? Because once again, they have said the kids are what is most important here. They don't want to mess with stuff that affects the student athletes. You asked about Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd did not directly address the financial situation today in his press conference, but he did talk a little bit about the situation involving what's coming up in terms of, the rest of this year. And there was apparently an outing last night where the entire athletic department went out and had a party. But first, let's do this first, because you might remember there was a line item on the agenda for the Arizona Board of Regents where at that meeting last week, they were supposed to discuss Tommy Lloyd's contract. And then that line item was taken off of the Board of Regents meeting. Again, this was the meeting last week. I'm going to play for you here what Tommy Lloyd had to say about that. And he goes into a little bit deeper about this event that was had within the athletic department last night.
Because there was no agreement. I mean, it was as simple as that. I don't know why it was on there. It's probably just a small oversight, but we're definitely, working hard behind the scenes to make sure that we find an agreement, and I'm excited about it. I mean, last night, I'll just say this: Arizona's a great place. Last night we had a social with over 200 employees from the athletic department for a happy hour at Culinary Dropout. We had a great time, and this is a special place to work, and I think people inside this building realize that, and it's on us right now to take the next steps as an organization and make it an unbelievable culture, and so that's what we're going to do. And so I'm excited to be part of it, lead it, whatever you want, to follow it. I mean, I'm all in.
So Tommy's all in, which sounds to me like, look, he'll do whatever he needs to do. He'll do his part, whatever that is, however he sees that. We've had coaches in the past, I believe. Sean Miller gave some money of his own out of his own pocket to benefit the program. I'd have to go back and look and see what he did, but I remember he bought something or donated to something while he was here. Maybe that's something that Tommy Lloyd does. Maybe that's something that Brent Brennan does to try to help cure this shortfall. I mean, $33 million's a lot. I mean, I don't know how much money you can, but hey, every little bit counts. Every little bit counts from the folks that are bringing in the money to the university. But everybody's got to tighten their belts. All right, I want to talk to you about this today. Where are you at? What do you want? I mean, you heard John Arnold say, we got to reimagine this program. What's that going to be moving forward? What do you want that to be moving forward? Because it's not going to be what it's been, at least maybe in terms of the last few years, where this athletic department has drastically overspent. 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. Let's talk to Tim. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290 DK on the Sports Tip.
Yeah, hey David, good conversation. I was really close to the department during the Stoops years, and I saw some of the expenses, and someone was telling me they were really worried about it, and the TV contracts were going up, and I said, you know what, you got all the money you need. You have a spending problem, and that is it. I mean, it's a spending problem. Now, part of it to get out of it on the revenue side is, going to the Big 12. I actually think the Big 12 teams are going to travel a little bit better than the Pac-10 teams coming to Tucson. I think football, I sat in some of those football games with Rich Rod, Sumlin, even Jed. I mean, it was like, how are you paying the bills with this empty stadium? I mean, I went to the Cal game a few years, the year of COVID, and it was like, there's nobody here, and the game is 5 minutes old. So revenue's going to increase there, but, I know when the last athletic director left and the new one came in, there was some new positions created at six figures, and, those are probably going to go away.
It's interesting because I never really looked at and I said this earlier in the show, you can go and pull up the salaries of everybody that works for the university. And I remember the first time I ever looked at that, I think it was actually during COVID, because I was looking at I did a story on some things and I was looking at some stuff, and I was floored that there was a position. I'm not going to say who it was, but I'll just say it was an administrative position for one of the major teams, and I would not have thought that particular person was making six figures, and they were.
Yeah, and if you have six people like that with benefits, retirement, that adds up quick. So it's good that they're taking a look at it. I owned my own business for years. And when times got tough, you kind of looked at expenses and you saw things that were there that weren't right, and you cut them. But then again, looking at the future, I really think the football revenues are going to go up pretty much because you got people in Tucson that want to be part of it. And I think that Kansas State and Iowa State and some of the Texas schools are going to probably travel 2,000-3,000 more than you've ever seen from Washington State, Oregon, whatever, coming here for football. So I think everything's going to be okay. But it's a shame we had to get here.
Yeah, that's an interesting way. I didn't even really think about that from the standpoint that the traveling fan bases, and you may actually be putting more people into the football stadium in the Big 12 than maybe you were in the Pac-12. That's a very good point there, Tim. Thank you so much for calling.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Tech fans are going to come just to brag about their cactus logos. They got reasons to come to Tucson.
Oh, my gosh. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number if you want to share your thoughts on this as well. Let me see. I think
we did have a caller who just called in, Ty, and he couldn't get on the air, but he was talking about any kind of liability from a coach who makes public statements about being here and being invested, as Coach Fish did.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him that there's been quite a few coaches in recent memory who had made a public commitment to wanting to be at the university for a long period of time before a week or two later deciding that they were going to be leaving. And I told him, to me, that's the reason why this 30-day window exists. The reason why players are allowed to transfer within a 30-day period after a coach leaves is to give the same kind of freedom to the student athletes that coaches have had for some period of time. I don't remember who the famous one was, but didn't somebody say that they're really happy staying at the university, and like 2 days later they were gone? That's happened in the past before. So we did have a caller chime in on that side of things as well.
Yeah. 520-848-1290. I want to play one more cut from this. I didn't get into all the Q&As because I ran out of time before the show.
So many cues.
Yeah, but I want to play this one cut here, and then we'll dive into it and play it again in the next half hour, and I'll elaborate on it just a little bit more. But this came from Professor Jo Ellen Russell she was the first person to ask a question. Here's what she had to say.
What I didn't see is whose values would be used to be doing this right sizing. If it's just efficiency, that makes no sense. We have profound value in things that don't make a lot of money that we agree we need. So whose values? And I'll just note that the current array up front here is not particularly representative of our community.
That was the best part of that. I'll just note that the current array, and she was talking about the 4 people sitting on the stage, are not an adequate representation of this community. We'll get into exactly what she meant by that in the 5 o'clock hour. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Crash on Saurita Road east of Wilmot. Also a wreck that occurred eastbound I-10 near the Aho-Kino connection. It says stay right to get you by while crews clear that crash. Both directions of traffic impacted on eastbound and westbound I-10 with pretty significant backups. Both directions on I-10 approaching the Aho-Kino connection. And overnight tonight, 56 the low, tomorrow 76, and rain expected tomorrow night into Friday and 76 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes.
When you get your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt, prepare to shout, Jackson Hewitt, yeah, from the rooftops. In the event you don't get your biggest refund, you'll get your money back. Plus $100.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. As rough a weekend as that was for the city of Detroit, today is a very good day. Your offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, remaining with the team out of loyalty. That's got to make you feel better, Lions fan. Of course, that's not going to help Commander fan who thought they had their guy. But apparently their guy is staying put without a raise, reportedly. So he turned down a chance to be a head coach for the Commanders in order to stay in Detroit without a raise as of right now, because he thought that was a bitter situation. The Commanders can try and spin it and say they were never zeroed in on Ben Johnson and that they were spooked by his rumored asking price, but it's hard to believe any of that. After all, they weren't so spooked that they didn't get on their jet to come see him. Spooked by what price? The guy's staying in Detroit reportedly for no raise. The future is still looking better for the Commanders, but Detroit just got a major win.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-881-4747. That's 1-800-881-4747. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-881-4747. That's 1-800-881-4747.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
With the new year, we usually make resolutions to be healthier. Water quality in your home can help you achieve healthy living goals. I'm Ron Arenas with Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We offer solutions to filter the water in your house that you drink, shower, and cook with every day. For clean and healthy water, call 520-440-4069.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
You know how we Wildcats love our games, and there's no place better, closer, or safer to game than Desert Diamond Casinos. Filled with hundreds of the newest, loosest slots, dozens of your favorite table games, and superior food and beverage options. Desert Diamond is the #1 destination for your free time fun festivities. Bear down for the best time in Tucson. Go to Desert Diamond Casinos. Go Cats!
Wildcats Radio 1290 wants to send you to Las Vegas for the big game weekend. Airfare, a 2-night stay in Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and more. Text the word CARDS to 95819 now for your chance to win on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wildcat fans, join head coach Adia Barnes and the Arizona women's basketball team in McHale Center this season. Season tickets are on sale now. You won't want to miss the fierce competition coming to Arizona. Season tickets are available now at ArizonaWildcats.com/WBK. Arizona women's basketball. Let's pack McHale Center.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
For this year, projected to be about the same as they were prior to COVID. Now, there was a significant dip in revenues during COVID, but we haven't seen any sustainable revenue growth in athletics for 6-7 years now. We need to get after that and see if we can change that. Does that mean the cost of hot dogs at McHale are probably going up? The answer to that is yes.
No. Don't mess with my pausing clause, CFO Arnold. Don't raise the price of my pausing clause. Good gracious. Concessions might be going up. But again, you got to raise it again. You got to make money. You got to find it. Like the man just said, there have been very little new revenue streams. And you wonder why I'm having these conversations about how you can make this whole experience better. Maybe you might at some point, I mean, and granted, when you're in the midst of a a budget shortfall, you're certainly not going to go out and build a new arena, but you got to start to find new ways to make these infrastructures work for you on the money side.
I remember as a kid, the M&Ms that I got in McHale were the best M&Ms I ever had. They were like $4, and this was in the 80s. So
why were they better than what was in the store? Did they make them?
It's just something about that idea of being there's a term for it where you're isolated. There's nowhere, you can't go anywhere out to get it. I don't know. There was just something about as a kid. I'm talking about when I was a kid. I don't remember loving and eating nachos every time I went to McHale. We would usually get a soda, but I would usually go out there at like maybe the final timeout before halftime and get some M&Ms, and they were good.
I'm trying to think of what I really loved at the ballpark. Now you've got me into what ballpark.
Most ballparks nowadays have like lobster tails and sushi and stuff, right?
They do, but I try not. Well,
I know you're not a. I know that's not your style.
Though that isn't. But my wife always gets she'll look at me sideways when we go. Like they have like that island. There's that one island food truck where you can get like it's kind of like rice and noodles and that kind of chicken and noodles and kind of thing like that. And she always looks at me sideways when I go to the ball we go to spring training or go to the Diamondbacks, and I'll order that because she's very traditional ballpark hot dog,
right, sure.
Ballpark peanuts, ballpark Cracker Jacks.
What's she put on her hot dogs?
And
mustard,
just
relish,
stadium,
ketchup.
Not just mustard. We come from Cleveland.
Sure.
Stadium mustard.
Sure.
Which we can get shipped out here to us and put on our dogs that we might eat at home. But yeah, she's very traditional, and I'll be the guy ordering like the rice and chicken and rice and that kind of thing. So she always looks at me sideways when I do that.
That's her job, is to look at you sideways.
That is her job. That is for sure. All right. Let's reset where we are after the meeting on Monday with the U of A financial situation overall and how it relates to athletics. 61 of the university's 81 units, and when we say units, we mean departments, are operating at a deficit spending this year. Athletics is operating at a $32 million deficit. That means they're projected to be $32 million over budget this year alone. They've already made a change in the athletic director. Dave Heeke's final day will be on Friday. Love Dave. Dave did a lot of things. We haven't gotten a clear indication. I don't know. I'll have to go back and listen to the rest of the questions. I don't know if anyone asked about that decision yet. I didn't get all the way through it. I think I got about 15 minutes to go through it. We'll have that for you maybe tomorrow, probably more so on Friday since we're mostly in basketball tomorrow. They're asking for 5 to 15% reduction scenarios that can be implemented over the course of the next year and a half to 3 months by every entity, all of these units. And it just goes back. You heard John Arnold say concessions may go up. They've got to find ways to make revenue in athletics. And so the easiest thing to do is to jack the concessions. That's the easiest revenue stream. Of course, that falls back onto you. The other thing he said is that we've got to figure out what this is going to be moving forward in terms of athletics. And what I've said is if football is going to be the bell cow, and that's the way it is at most universities, if football is going to be the bell cow, are you going to cut expenses in other sports to keep football at the operating levels it needs to be to compete at the big boy football level? Now, the one thing that they did say is they don't want to do things that are going to affect the student athletes. Obviously, if you cut from other sports, you're affecting the student athletes. So, again, they don't want to mess, and they've said this across the board. We're not messing with scholarships. We're not messing with financial aid. We're not messing with our student athletes' experience. So what does that mean? Okay, so in terms of athletics, that means you're going to pay more.
They're talking about mimosas for administrative meetings, not necessarily tutors, and books, right?
No. You're going to pay more. You're going to pay more for tickets. You're going to pay more for food. That's one way they can raise their revenues is by charging you more.
There's a lot of jerseys with that new logo for the new conference that people need to
there you go.
gather.
Yeah. Apparel. What do they call it now? Merch. Merch will be more. When you go into the McHale Center gift shop, when you go into the bookstore, that merch is going to be more. I like merch, the term merch, because it rhymes with goes with more. Merch is more. But again, if you want football to operate, you got to have football operating at a high level, which means that all these positions that Jetfish added, I mean, he set it up like an NFL front office. Are you going to cut those positions now? Are you going to allow Brent Brennan to have the same operating situation so he can continue to keep football on the trajectory that Jetfish put it on? Baseball and softball, some of these other smaller sports have been given a chance to add a third coach. Again, like I said at the top, that's probably, I don't know what those coaches are making yet. We'll eventually find out when they release this year's salaries. But that's probably an additional $150,000 in that neighborhood, maybe up to $180,000 in additional salaries for coaches. So it sounds like it's going to be administratively done. And I don't know if that means administrative positions are going to be cut. You know, there's like the AD and then there's like 5 or 6 people below the AD. Maybe there's the AD and only 3 or 4 people below the AD directly. Maybe those are the types of positions that might eventually get chopped. All right, I want to go back to the question that was asked by Professor Joe Ellen Russell, because this was the first question. It was the only question I got to, and it just completely made me laugh out loud because of the coded language that she put into this question at the end.
What I didn't see is what values, whose values would be used to be doing this right sizing. If it's just efficiency, that makes no sense. We have profound value in things that don't make a lot of money that we agree we need. So whose values? And I'll just note that the current array up front here is not particularly representative of our community.
And I'll just note that the current array up here is not particularly representative of our community. And the current array was John Arnold, Fred Duvall, Robert C. Robbins, and there was another gentleman who did not speak, or at least had not spoken. I'm not positive of who he was. I'm going to say it a little bit more politely than she said it, or as polite as I can say it. Essentially what Professor Joe Ellen Russell just said there was that there wasn't no women sitting up on that stage. And in a city of Tucson that sits an hour away from the Mexican border, there wasn't a whole lot of people of color sitting up on that stage in the seats of the people who are going to be making the decisions about this financial situation. Joe Ellen Russell made me laugh out loud when she said that. Wilma Katz checks in and says, she is absolutely one of the most amazing educators anywhere within the U of A and a wonderful human being. I tweeted this out earlier. Big shout out for Joellen Russell calling out the diversity of the crowd up front. Go on with your bad self, Joellen Russell. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. All right. Fontainebleau Las Vegas is the newest luxury resort and casino on the Las Vegas Strip, and we want to send you there for the big game weekend. One winner will score a trip for 2 to Las Vegas, including airfare, a 2-night stay at the Fontainebleau Las Vegas, $150 credit to spend at one of the 36 restaurant and bars at the Fontainebleau Las Vegas, and 2 tickets to the Fontainebleau Las Vegas big game viewing party that's at the Blue Live Theater. All right, here's what's going to happen right now. I'm going to give you today's keyword. There's 3 keywords throughout the day. This is the keyword until 7 o'clock tonight. I'm going to give you, in fact, there's just one more day. Tomorrow's the last day you can get in on this. So we'll give you one more keyword during countdown to tip-off tomorrow night before U of A and Cal. But this is your keyword for right now. And you're going to text this keyword to 95819. So it's not like a regular phone number. So 95819 is where you're going to text this keyword. And your keyword right now is cards. Cards. C-A-R-D-S. Cards. Like short for Cardinals. The Cardinals are not playing in the Super Bowl. But that's your keyword to text right now. Cards to 95819. 95819. Say that 10 times fast. 95819. Text that now for your chance to win a trip to the big game weekend. 2-night stay at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. $150 credit to spend at any of their 36 restaurants and bars. There are 36 restaurants and bars at the brand new Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. That's insane. And 2 tickets, not to see the game in the stadium, but to watch the game at the Blue Live Theater, the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas big game viewing party. Text cards, C-A-R-D-S, right now to 95819. All right. Getting you home every 20 minutes. We'll talk some Suns when we get back. If you want to talk about the financial situation, if you've got solutions, if you've got answers, we still want to hear that. The lines are open to you. We're also going to talk the Suns who are taking KD back to Brooklyn.
We did have
tonight.
Our best guy, Paul in Phoenix, just called in. He could not get on the air, but he wanted to know specifically how much revenue Arizona makes from ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that obviously because he's a loyal ticket holder, season ticket holder for many years and comes down to every game, that he would be willing to pay more than the $100 season tickets or whatever that he said. And I told him that we didn't have that actual specific number in front of us, but we would let him know as soon as we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Paul, we will look into that for you. Getting you home, though, first, we got to make sure we get all the folks here in Tucson. And there's some good high school basketball games going on tonight. I'm going to go check one out myself after the show. Going to head on over to South Point, check out Saguaro and South Point tonight. So say hello if you see me at the game, and make sure we get you there safely. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Still some backups for both directions of traffic on I-10 approaching the Ajo-Kino connection due to an earlier crash. Collision reported westbound I-10 at Tangerine, vehicle into the guardrail. Expect some slowing there. And also collisions Valencia and I-10, Sahuarita Road east of Wilmot. 56 the low, tomorrow 76 the high with rain tomorrow night into Friday and 76 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of their everyday financing offers. Lowe's knows home improvement, subject to credit approval.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-5040. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-5040 for the help that you need. need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-5040 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-5040.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-736-6158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-736-6158. That's 800-736-6158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-736-6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that can bring you Thursday, Sunday, Monday Night Football, the NFL playoffs, and the Super Bowl. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Today on Hey Culligan Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yup, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Don't forget, we've got basketball tomorrow night, Arizona and California. We'll have the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. That'll begin at 2:30, so a little bit earlier than we would normally begin on a regular show day. We'll take you from 2:30 to 5:30, and then tip-off coming up at 6:30. That game, a pair of night games this week, with the other game being a Sunday evening affair against the Stanford Cardinal at 6 o'clock. Arizona women's basketball, just one game this week. We'll also have that for you right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. That'll be a noon affair. Some unfortunate news came out of women's college basketball today. The Washington State Cougars announced that Charlize Ledger-Walker is going to be out for the remainder of the season. She went down on Sunday in the Cougars' upset win on the road at UCLA, a non-contact injury. And so her career, essentially, I think she was a fifth year, and her career, college basketball career, essentially has come to an end. But what's kind of stinks about that for her is not only is her college career over, but she had actually intended to leave the Washington State program for a while towards the end of the season to go play. She's from Australia, to go play for her national team over there. They're trying to qualify for next year's Olympics, and she was figured to be a really large part. They call themselves in Australia, the women's national team is called the Tall Ferns, and she was expected to be a very large piece of the puzzle for the Tall Ferns in being able to qualify. I don't think they've been to the Olympics in a while. I think it's like they've not qualified in ages. And they thought with Charlize Ledger-Walker at leading the way that they finally had a squad that could do so and get through the qualifying tournament. But now she's obviously not going to be participating in that. So not only does Washington State lose a key piece in Charlize Ledger-Walker, but so does the Australian women's national team. So just, again, we've been talking about the injuries on the women's side and how they've crippled so many teams this year. And here's another one, taking one of the best players in the Pac-12 out of the picture for the remainder of the season. The Wildcats dealing with their own situation in terms of injury and the health of Kaylin Gilbert, who did not play at all last weekend in the win over California and the loss to the Stanford Cardinal. And Dia Barnes on her radio show couldn't find anything really hilariously funny last night. We've had some funny instances coming out of that show recently, but she did say this about the emergence of Courtney Blakely, Skylar Jones subbing in, and what the future might hold for Kaylin Gilbert.
I think they did a really good job. I think they both had an opportunity and made the best of it. They both knew the situation. And I think from a player's perspective, it's hard because that's a little bit of pressure. Not pressure, but there is pressure. So think about a player's perspective. You haven't had an opportunity all the time because, like, Kaylin's our leading scorer. So it's normal that affected Courtney's minutes. And I think an opportunity when Kaylin was out for two other players that know they're going to get minutes and to come out and produce is really important. Because I think then, because there's time and there's rotations, and now Kaylin's got to come in and earn back her spot in the rotation. That's just kind of how it is. But I think it was important for them to play well, and I think just perform. And because you want to perform. When you get opportunities, you have to perform and make the best out of it. So I think that they did make the best out of it, and now they're more confident, so they're going to play better. And I think Courtney and confidence is a huge part of our game. And it's hard to be confident when you're playing 5 minutes, and I know that. I was a player. It's hard to be confident when you make a mistake, you're getting pulled out, but I think that it's also hard to perform when you need to perform. And I think they both did that and did a really good job of it.
What was Jones like when she found out she was going to be in the starting lineup?
I'm probably like, huh? Yeah. Well, and I couldn't tell her right away because I didn't know what was happening. And that's hard. Like, you guys don't realize as a coach, it's really hard when you don't know who's available or when someone's available till the last second. That's hard for a coach. So it's hard for a player. It's also hard for a coach because you're strategizing different. We look different when Kaylin plays. We look different when she doesn't. We look different when Brea plays. We look different when she doesn't. Same with Esmeri. So a lot of those decisions weren't until game day a couple hours before. So I couldn't tell her before because I wasn't going to make a starting change if I didn't have to, right? So, well, this game I would have, but just typically you don't have to. And so she didn't know until shoot around.
All right, that was Adia Barnes last night on, obviously, the situation she's dealing with on the injury front, the latest injury situation. She's dealt with a number with Montea Dew being out for the year and Maya Nagy obviously leaving the team to focus on her studies, and now Kaylin Gilbert, the best player on the team, leading scorer on the team, being out and having to lean on Courtney Blakely, who did an outstanding job. Courtney Blakely scoring 24 points in the loss to Stanford on Sunday, and Skylar Jones really coming in and playing and not afraid was good to see from that talented young freshman. So the Wildcats will get their rivals, a team that they've beaten already once this year on the road. They'll get them at home this Sunday. And again, you'll hear that game right here on Wildcats Radio 1290 with coverage beginning at 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. 520-848-1290, again, is the number to get in on the program. Want to talk a little bit about the Suns, and they've got a game tonight. It starts in about an hour, and they're on national TV again. That's the second straight week they've been on this ABC Wednesday night deal.
Well, now that they're healthy, I mean, that's a team people want to watch. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
Apparently, but it is the return. I guess this is reunion night because it's not only is it the return of Kevin Durant to Brooklyn, but it's also the return of Dame Lillard to Portland as the Bucks play in Portland tonight. So a couple of reunions, although that one holds a lot more cachet because Dame Lillard played his
he was
entire
there for
career.
like 10 years.
Yeah, he played his entire career up until this point in Portland, whereas Kevin Durant was not in Brooklyn for that long a period of time, obviously with the Oklahoma City Thunder and with the Golden State Warriors, where he won a pair of titles. But KD, after the game the other night, the win over the Miami Heat, talked about this return trip to Brooklyn, New York.
Curious, obviously, going back to Brooklyn for the next game, but just not sure how you feeling about it right now.
Man, I'm excited. It's always fun playing in Brooklyn. It's always fun playing in New York. Can't wait to see some of the people that I work with that I got to know over the last 4 years. New York City has become my favorite city in the world, and just from me living there for 4 years, and I miss it a lot. I'm building a lot of bonds and relationships with the people that actually work in the organization, and still talk to this day. So yeah, I can't wait to play in front of that crowd again and see all my friends and family out there.
And obviously, you've been in situations where you went back to where you played before, and then the vibe is usually not pleasant. How are you? What are you expecting in that sense tomorrow?
It just depends on how the people wake up. You know, there's no that morning. I mean, a lot of people don't know what to say or how to feel about me, so it's up in the air on what may happen. You know, so I'm excited that people will come watch the games and support the games. I know it's going to be some Suns fans. There's fans of every team in the world in New York City, so there's going to be a few Suns fans that are coming in and support us. So. But I never know how people are going to react. I don't expect anything from anyone. I just want them to do whatever they do. That's going to allow them to have some fun that night.
So it's going to be fun to watch tonight. Kevin Durant will go back. They are expecting that there is going to be a video tribute for him. It was something that he came out this week and said he would prefer that they not do a video tribute for him, just because, again, he didn't feel like he did anything really to deserve a video tribute.
Yeah,
there
I mean,
in
you're
Brooklyn.
talking about like a Warriors tribute with him knocking down a shot in the finals, right? Or
don't remind me.
OKC tribute of him, doing things nobody had ever seen before for that franchise. So, yeah, it's tough because there was so much unfinished, promise from those three guys being together in New Jersey. I think the final tally was like 16 games those three guys played together. So I understand. And I love the part where he said, number one, it depends how the fans in New York wake up that morning is how they're going to be treating them. And I love the fact that, fans don't know how to react to Kevin Durant. I mean, because the vitriol KD gets starts with love, right? A lot of the times it comes with a lot of people were upset because they wanted to see what potentially could happen with the Thunder, and that whole thing about losing to the Warriors in the playoffs and then going and joining them, a team that had just set the record for the most wins. That was a big part of why people turned on KD. But, at the end of the day, there's a lot of hate is not the right word, but a lot of vitriol towards him because he's so damn good. Fans just don't understand how to do it. Some other news came out this week, real briefly, is that if you might remember, Sabrina Ionesco set the record for most points ever in a three-point shootout. Did you hear about this? She challenged Steph.
Okay.
And Steph accepted, and they're putting it together. So at this year's All-Star game, Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu are going to shoot it out, and reportedly, she said that she would shoot from the three-point line, the NBA three-point line, which is a bit longer. But she missed only 2 in that record-setting round, something like 25 out of 27. And Steph was asked about that last night after his game.
Looks like we're going to have an NBA versus WNBA three-point challenge. Ionescu dropped 37 at 7. Now the stage is set. We're going to see this on All-Star Weekend. How are we feeling about this? What's the preparation going into it? What should we expect?
I think this is like the coolest thing ever. I know, she kind of broke the airwaves when she, I think she only missed 2 or something like that.
25 or 27.
Yeah, and I don't know, I was on some golf course somewhere, and my phone was blowing up saying, what Sabrina done. So I think the fact that we can, join forces, put her front and center at NBA All-Star Weekend. I've done a three-point contest plenty of times. I've won it twice. She's got the record. She even stepped it up. She said she's going to shoot from the NBA three-point line. So I love the confidence. I love the competition. It's a new format on that stage. Obviously I'm coming to win, so I know she is too. So it's going to be great. I think the fans will love it.
What year was that whole Billie Jean King thing?
Oh, God, like 77, 78 with Bobby Riggs. Yeah.
Not that this is the same thing, but I love it. I love that they've actually sanctioned this and
Not
it's
even
happening.
close, because
It's amazing.
Bobby Riggs was a chauvinist pig.
No, and he made, of course. No, of course. No, that's what I think. We all know the story. Yeah, but I love the fact that, she sets a record which may never be broken. I mean, missing only 2 out of 27 in that format where you got to pull the balls off the rack and all that. I mean, just amazing. And I just love the fact that they've matched these two great shooters up against each other. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
I know it's early. We were talking it was probably last month about the most anticipated child of a superstar, and we mentioned that Charlie Woods would be on that list.
Yeah.
Bronny James is obviously on that list. I don't know if Riley Curry plays basketball, but we've talked about how Steph is such a huge supporter of the women's game, much like Kobe was, and his relationship with Cameron Brink, who we mentioned that on the show yesterday. I'd have to mention, man, if Riley starts playing the game, and that she might be on that list for sure at some point. Now I think she's only 6 or 7, maybe 8.
What about all-time great players whose careers were cut short by injury and their children?
All-time great players whose careers were cut short by injury.
Because Elijah Arenas is coming.
Ooh.
If you didn't know.
Yeah, well, I've heard. Yeah, we had Kelvin was talking about that. Yeah. Kelvin, one of the things Kelvin was saying is that Gilbert didn't send him to one of those competitive schools. He sent him to a school where he could dominate because he wanted him to develop that killer instinct, which I thought that's interesting, because you hear about, with Bronny was at a school where he was playing with a bunch of great players.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 8 points a game. That's how good the players are over there.
But, Gilbert's son is in a different situation where he's the man.
Yeah.
And he's developing those instincts to be the man. And kind of just the different way that these athletic parents the different routes they put their kids on is very interesting. All right, I want to play. I'll play the video on this side here, Jade. I want to play a little bit of Jacques Vaughn, who spoke just a few minutes ago about Kevin Durant's return to play in Brooklyn tonight.
And see him as an opponent for the first time since the trade. See him here.
Yeah.
For the first time.
For me, my experience with Kevin, I'll never forget. And for me, in the world of negativity, it was a positive experience for me. K made me a better coach. And there's one thing that I never, ever doubted is when I was a part of a staff or was coaching him as a head coach, going into a game, he wanted to win that game. And that competitiveness and that ability to show up every night is special. And he is a special human being. And nothing but good and fond memories for me. I'm glad I had a chance to coach him. He is an unbelievable player and one of the best to ever suit up.
All right, that was Jacques Vaughn, the head coach of the New Jersey, the Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn.
It's funny. It's funny, Jacques Vaughn, because he obviously played his college ball at Kansas.
Sure did.
In 1993. It's just I guess. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking I can remember when he was coming into college, and to think, man, now he's coaching games. That's just it makes me feel kind of old.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. A lot of guys who we remember fondly when they started their college careers and even into their professional careers, who are now turning that corner and becoming coaches across the board.
Big time LA high school player.
Who's the Raiders coach right now?
Antonio Pierce. Yeah, Antonio Pierce. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. It's time for cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Valencia and Benson Highway in Valencia. Crash there, some eastbound backups. Final clearing, Sahuarita Road east of Wilmot. Westbound I-10 near Tangerine. Reports of a vehicle into the guardrail. And some freeway slowdowns. The westbound side of I-10 slowing, approaching and passing Alvernon. Eastbound I-10 slowing approaching the Ajo-Kino connection. 56 the low tonight, tomorrow 76, rain tomorrow night into Friday. 75 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, they'll help you with any air conditioning, drain, or pipe issues. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected AC and plumbing experts anytime at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
When my daughter gets a cold, I have a secret weapon. DayQuil Kids Berry from Vicks. DayQuil Kids is specially formulated to treat kids' most bothersome cold and cough symptoms quickly. And the best part is that DayQuil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
DayQuil Kids Berry. The Kids Berrylicious daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6 years plus.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, and we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 520-497-4955. That's 520-497-4955. 520-497-4955.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water, pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Final chance for you to get in on today's program. 520-848-1290 is that number to call or text. We've been talking about the financial situation at the University of Arizona today and what is on the horizon for athletics. It sounds like a third party, according to John Arnold, the interim CFO for the university. A third party is going to be coming in to take a look at the situation specifically on the athletic side and to recommend different ways for the Wildcats and for the university to be more efficient on the athletic side. So we will wait to see kind of how that whole thing plays out. But right now, athletics is operating this year $32 million over budget. and that's not where they want to be for sure. John Arnold insinuating that concessions might be going up. Your hot dog might cost more. My paws and claws might cost more next year.
Nacho cheese ain't cheap.
Nacho cheese ain't cheap. I like that. Nacho cheese ain't cheap. So what do you think? I mean, he said this is going to be a community conversation about what we want athletics to be moving forward as we go into this new Big 12 era. How do you envision that? What are some of the things you'd like to see? We had Tim call up and said that there's all kinds of crazy things that they overspend on. He said he had he worked around athletics for a number of years. They've got to get spending, and that sounds like it is a crutch. There's 61 of the 81 university units are in deficit spending right now. 61 of 81. So there's only 20 units on campus that are not exceeding their budgets on the spending side. So the Wildcats and the university trying to get those 61 units in line with how they want spending to happen moving forward.
They could just go back to like throwing T-shirts instead of like bringing in mini helicopters to drop them and stuff, right?
Oh, the blimp. Yeah, the blimp. Gosh, man, that blimp has been there. I remember when I worked for IMG College, that blimp's been there for a long time. The blimp could be going away? My goodness. I don't think I've ever caught anything out of that. Have you?
I do not. No, I've never caught anything from the blimp in McHale.
No,
I have not.
I have not. All right. We told you that we got a chance to go over and meet with Arizona softball today. And we'll tell you a little bit about what happened there.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Caitlin, obviously not ranked for the first time preseason in a long time, not making the postseason last year. How much do you feel this is a redemption year for your program?
I definitely feel that. I think it's actually appropriate that we're not ranked right now. I think that's motivation for our team to basically earn everything that we get this year and, chip away and go to work. And I think, if you look at that, to me, it's just like, okay, we have to prove ourselves this year. And they've taken it upon themselves to work that way this entire year. So excited for them to take the stage.
So I know you hired Josh, but really the big hire to make was pitching that everyone's interested in,
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from Christian so far, and what have you seen from the staff working with him that might be different than from before?
Well, his preparation for practice, for every week, for games, which we're getting into now, for scouting opponents, it's just unmatched. His work ethic is fantastic. He communicates really well with the bullpen and not just the pitching staff, but the catchers as well, so that it feels like we have a real comprehensive plan going into the week. He's also made it pretty apparent what everyone in the staff is working on so that, even Aisa knows what AB is doing in the bullpen and can be there for encouragement in some instances. The hitters sometimes know what they're trying to get after, and it's been a more collaborative effort and feels like a really good group dynamic.
Caitlin, for those of us that weren't privy to talk to you in the fall, how difficult of a decision was that to make the change with the pitching coach?
Extremely difficult. I think our past history, and Taryn's a great friend, and I think she's going to do great things still. And bringing Christian in, it's just been great for our bullpen, and to have kind of new, fresh eyes, but also just a different approach to how he's going to train them for season. And I interviewed a lot of people, quite a few people, especially for interviewing two positions. I spent 2 weeks on Zoom calls and phone calls, and it was very apparent. I spent 2.5 to 3 hours with him on a Zoom that I could just keep talking to him and the way he thinks the game. I'm really just excited to go through matchups with him and a full season of how we can really get the most out of each pitcher.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, that was Caitlin Lowe, the head coach of the Arizona softball team. The Christian she was talking about is new pitching coach Christian Conrad, who joined the university back in June of last year after the dismissal of the former pitching coach, and that, of course, was Taryn Moet, the two-time national champion here at the University of Arizona. Obviously, a decision that was not an easy one for Caitlin Lowe to make, but one that she felt needed to be made in order for the Wildcats to put themselves back in championship contention, not making the NCAA tournament for the first time in I think it was 35 years last year. The Wildcats.
600 years.
A long time. It had been a long time since Arizona had not made the NCAA tournament. We'll hear from the girls on that Friday and get their thoughts, ask them a little bit, but just kind of what it was like that day to watch an NCAA selection show and not see Arizona's name come up for the first time since the late 80s.
Good, DK.
No.
It did not feel good.
Not at all. Not at all. And so Taryn Moet is no longer here. Christian Conrad is. And unfortunately for Christian Conrad, he is dealing with injuries now to his top two pitchers. So Arizona will start this season next week without Devin Netz, who is injured, and without Sydney Sumnerdyke,
but don't ask
who is injured.
Don't ask Caitlin who's starting.
No. Well, I can pretty much tell you it's going to be Aisa Silva. I would imagine she's going to be the one starting.
That was the funniest part about that press conference.
I mean, I just wanted her to confirm it.
I know. Like, I'm not going to tell you who's starting because our opponents are listening.
I know the answer to most of these questions when I go in there. I just want to see if I can get them to tell me what the answer is going to be.
Of course.
Yeah, Aisa Silva will have to pitch, and she got experience last year, so it's not anything she hasn't done. There's a new young freshman out of Clovis North High School in Fresno. Gosh, they got a Clovis North now. Back when I was there, it was Clovis East and Clovis West. Now they got a Clovis North. Ryan Maddox, a freshman, is on the staff now. Miranda Stoddard is a transfer from Kentucky who can pitch. They also got the transfer that came in from Princeton. They got like 5 or 6 pitchers. So, an injury to 2 is certainly not what you want, but they've got some arms. It's not like they don't have arms. The question is what these arms can do. Allie Blanchard is the transfer I mentioned from Princeton who has come in. So there's going to be, I think they're all going to get an opportunity. Brooke Mannon is a freshman out of West Jefferson, Ohio. That's kind of in the Columbus area. She's going to get an opportunity to potentially go out there and pitch. So we'll hear from the seniors and Allie Skaggs and Jasmine Perez-Chica on Friday and get their thoughts on how they feel about it all.
There was a time, DK, when I feel like every young girl, coming up in softball across the country dreamed of being a pitcher for the Arizona Wildcats. When Candrea what year was that when Candrea first took the women out to the Olympics and had such an international splash and they became such superstars?
Well, I know 2000. I know you coached them 2000, 2004.
The first year,
I think
remember
it was 2000.
The first year that they had softball in the Olympics, that whole thing, it elevated Arizona to the stratosphere. Obviously everybody who was in the know already knew how successful the softball program had been. I'm just saying it feels like there was a time when that was a very in demand position was to be a starting pitcher for the University of Arizona Wildcats.
Before we get out of here tonight, I want to play one more piece of video for you. Last night, Damon Stoudemire and his Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets upset North Carolina, the number 3 team in the country. Here was Damon after the big win.
See, nobody sees the way I lean on you guys. I'm hard on you. I really am. I'm hard on you, but I'm hard on you for a reason. And these are tears of joy because I put y'all through. That shit ain't easy, man. I know it's not easy. And I know how these games are. They wars. They wars, man. That's how they are. But to get to where we're trying to get, you got to experience. Got to experience it. Okay, because a lot of them games have went the other way. But you guys stuck together, and that's why we was able to get that win, man. I'm proud of each and every one of y'all. Love y'all. Bring it in. Let's go. Family on three. 1, 2, 3. All
right. Congratulations to Damon Stoudemire and Georgia Tech. They've lost 11 games this year, but a couple of key signature wins over North Carolina and Duke there in the ACC. So he's just getting that program going, and of course, we wish nothing but best things for one of the greatest scorers to ever wear the Arizona Wildcats uniform.
Yeah, they were doing well. They lost, I think, 9 out of 10, something like that, in a recent stretch before this North Carolina game.
So, yeah, but big win there. Big win for Dame and company. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. And we are in basketball mode tomorrow. Rating Wealth Management countdown to tip-off at 2:30. Arizona and California, McHale Center at 6:30. Thanks to all the folks that joined us today. Brian Jeffries will call that game tomorrow. John Court, U of A Gymnastics. GymCats are killing it right now. 197 last Saturday. Most of all, thanks to you for listening. For JW Madden and Cricket, my name is David Kelly. That is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We will talk to you on Thursday.
You don't know what it means to win. So come down and see me again. Oh, yeah.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Backups westbound I-10 approaching and passing Alvernon, eastbound I-10 approaching Ajo Kino. And collisions reported at Valencia and Headley, also Valencia and Benson Highway, an apartment fire Stone Avenue near Glen. 56 the low tomorrow, 76 rain tomorrow night into Friday, and 73 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guarantee.